Good evening, USA. It's time for a serious chat about gun control. Gun reform, if you would prefer. However, it's definitely time. The madness has got to stop. Yes, Pandora's box had been opened long ago. Thus, the madness has flooded American streets. So I would like to further the conversation with a solution, right, for gun reform. Quite a few panic over the notion and others demand it. So what could we do? So I would like to submit to you an idea, something called the DGO. All right? I'll get back to it in a moment. Now, as you see, everywhere are memorials in America for victims of gun violence. And of course, it came to a head, rather tragically, in Florida on Valentine's Day, where 17 high school students were gunned down within a matter of minutes by obviously some deranged lunatic. Now, such lunacy is amongst us. Thus, it's clear gun reform must happen. At the very least, background checks and psychological evaluations. Cry about it all you want, but if these had been in place, several of these shootings would have most likely been averted. Thus today, constant protest, demanding actually for a solution to this problem. And I agree, why is there such a devotion for guns? Or to guns, sorry. I do not get it. And thus I applaud students who are protesting. They are doing the right thing because we can't live in this state of fear. And the crowds get massive. This photo showing such a volumes of people definitely shows that a vast number of Americans are keen for gun reform. And it's quite a good thing to see finally. And I do agree with the sentiment here. Why protect guns rather than people? Yet there are those that are vitriolic about those protesting, and the madness is quite shocking. All right? Representatives for the NRA are absolutely livid that parents and children are protesting, demanding that their schools be free of gun violence. I see not a problem with that. And let's take a look at some of the madness being stated by these NRA people, or people who prefer things as they are. Let's see. The NRA's Wayne LaPierre, he's the leader apparently. He claims that the semi-auto ban gives jackbooted government thugs more power to take away our constitutional rights. What? There are no jackbooted government thugs. And the constitutional rights thing, I think he'd better read and get himself a little copy of the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution. It's really quite very, very scary, that bit. And then more madness from the same gent. Need for background checks, an absolute fallacy. Excuse me. That is absolutely insane, and it's quite insulting. That could really have helped the situation in South Carolina when the young gent shot up the church. That was horrific. And then there's another person for another spokesperson for the NRA, who says, "We absolutely do not have responsibility to stop gun deaths." Really? Why not? Is it just a byproduct of gun ownership? That is inhumane. Shame on this person. She continues to say, many in legacy media love mass shootings. Legacy media, I'm not quite certain what that means. Apparently that's what she said. I've looked up these quotes and researched them, and apparently she did say legacy. I thought maybe she meant like liberal or something. That's usually the rhetoric that they spew out, but no. And then of course she went on to say millions of families are being punished by gun control because of Parkland shooting. Really? I don't think so. And the point here is you need, not all of us need gun control, because you never know. And someone could snap, someone accidentally shoot someone, and then of course there's the madness that walks about. So I should suggest to you that we simply cannot trust people, because you never know. For example, this buffoon here, take a peek. You would not trust this gent at the dinner table. Not surprisingly, study after study after study after study proves, reveals, exposes the danger of just simply having a gun about homes and workplaces and so forth. It's absolute madness. And furthermore, if you look at the numbers of mass shootings, they are endless so far in 2018. As of 2nd of April 2018, there have been numerous, page after page of shootings. It's absolute madness. So I'd have to say, enough. It's madness. It's absolute lunacy to have no regulation on guns. There is to a degree, but it's minute. And let me stipulate here, because I've heard the rhetoric and the so-called arguments, but they're pointless, they're invalid, they're false equivalents. Let's get to it. In reality, guns have only one purpose: destroy. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. No matter what you use them for sport, for hunting, for etc. Guns are designed only to destroy. That's it. Yes, I hear that argument about anything can be a weapon. However, the argument is invalid, because pencils, knives, bricks, butter knives, whatever, a fork, they have other uses. They are not designed solely to destroy. So again, guns only destroy. That's it. So then it makes me think, if that's true, if you can use, you suggest, as people suggest, that you can use anything as a weapon, then you don't need a gun, a brick, whatever. Use something else then. Because in reality, you simply cannot commit a Sandy Hook-like massacre with a pencil or your brick in under 5 minutes. However, in the end, I suggest that we put all this madness aside as pseudo-debates about guns and get serious about protection with what I'd like to suggest, and that is the creation of a new governmental department. The Department of Gun Ownership. The DGO. It shall function much like the Department of Motor Vehicles. It shall issue gun licenses only after background checks, psychological evaluations, written and range testing have all been passed. All guns will require a pink slip and annual registration. All gun sales, even at gun shows and or between any two parties, shall require ownership transfer documentation. Assault weapons shall be for police and military purpose only. Thus, possession of such weapons by the public shall be considered illegal. As for the definition of assault weapons, the details shall follow those of the Federal Assault Weapons Ban of 1994. Lastly, like motor vehicles, gun owners shall be required to carry basic liability insurance, just in case there's another victim of gun violence. And this is absolute madness. This is unacceptable. An assault weapon, open carry is rubbish, okay? It just is. You can have it on your belt like police, but this is madness. Absolutely, there's no need for it. And it is clearly not responsible behavior. And point out one actual observation here is, how do we know this gent in the park isn't some lunatic about to spring into action, or simply some fraidy cat masquerading as a tough guy in his silly way, announcing to everyone visually that he's ready for any nonsense, he'll save the day? Well, you got to grow up. Now, having dismissed that gent's right to openly carry an assault rifle, you might want to contend that I'm off my trolley and disregarding his Second Amendment right. Well, I submit to you that you need to read it, and you might as well watch my video. I am an English instructor at universities, and I've stepped through the Second Amendment. It's not a list, it's an actual statement, and the structure is fine. So have a go. So again, common sense, I think the DGO is a fairly good, I submit seriously that the DGO is a good place to start. Real responsible gun ownership begins with the DGO. Let's go. Prove you're responsible with the DGO. Let's go. DGO. It's the right way to go. For enough is enough. Thanks for your time.